So good morning. We're now recording. In the first segment, we're going to talk about the secret of growth. Okay? Growth is, make sure we're recording because some weird messages came up. All right. This, as you know, most of the stuff that I get is not from me, right? I don't sit around being the brain trust behind what we're doing. What we do a lot of is research, and the articles that we read to come up with this stuff, we make available to you. We make available to you because we use we read articles, we print them off, and we put them in the value and visions section under supervisor documents, values and vision. I'm constantly putting things in there. I ebb and flow. I go a couple months without putting anything in there, and I'll put 50 documents in there. In preparation for this and for the conference coming up, I've put a whole bunch of new presentations in there that we've written. I oftentimes will write 7 or 8 presentations to come up with one good one. And so all of the research and background articles that we come up with are all in there as well. Okay? So if you're ever looking for content on a team meeting, look in that values and vision section. If you don't have the content that you want, and you go out and research your own, add it to the value and vision section, please. Every time that we come up with a new presentation, that's where we're pulling from. So today's presentation is basically, there's this guy who's got this program called Entree Leadership. And Entree Leadership is kind of interesting. It's a Dave Ramsey idea, but Dave Ramsey really doesn't have anything to do with it anymore. And what they do is a podcast, and this particular podcast is Gary B. Vaynerchuk, and Gary B. He has his own book series called Ask Gary B. He's got a radio series called Ask Gary B. And everything's based on Ask Gary B. Okay, he's got 5 or 6 books out there, and some of them are incredible reads. Some of them are kind of okay. You're repeating yourself now, but this particular one I liked, and so what I did is I took a lot of his ideas, and I combined them with some of the stuff from Values and Visions to come up with this program on the secret of growth, okay? And the beginning we'll step through his podcast, and then we'll diversify into our own organization. Those of you who've been here for a while, you can easily tell the difference, okay? The first thing first, second thing never. This is a Bob Vaynerchuk saying. Many of you have heard me say this many times, but let's lay the right foundation, right? First things first, second things never. The idea is that you're really only going to get one thing done in a day. In an entire day, you're really only going to do one thing. The rest of everything that you're going to do is busy work. The one thing that you're going to do is that new inventive idea, right? That 5 minutes of, I've got to explore this, or hey, we need a new process on that, okay? First thing first, second thing never. There are days that you get nothing done. But if it's not top on your priority list today, you're probably never going to get to it. So the idea is to focus dramatically on getting one thing done every day, right? So if we're going to get one thing done every day, then we definitely have to make sure that we have our priorities right, because that's not a lot of stuff to do. If there's 365 days in a year, how many of them are actual work days? 200? I mean, let's be honest, right? Actual work days where you actually engaged when you sat down. Oops, now we're down to 100. So where you don't get distracted. Oh crap, now we're down to 30. We only have 30 things in a year we're actually going to get done. Well, that might even be giving some people a little too much credit, right? So being hyper-focused on exactly what it is that we need to get done and getting that thing done is the key. Tracking our priorities. I've done every one of these things with at least one person in this room before. Time management via technology. Evernote, OneNote, Outlook, task lists, Excel, CRM, customer relations management, okay? Apps like to-do lists and critical pathing. Somebody in this room has used one of these. What else do you think we could be using? Who else has an idea of technology that helps us prioritize and stay organized?
Trello.
Trello, there you go. Like that one. We definitely use that. What else?
Not technology, but just a whiteboard.
Whiteboard? Okay, what else? Anybody awake? What other technology means do you use?
Cell phone.
Cell phone?
Yeah, set alarms, turn on my son's music.
Okay, alarms.
All that.
Yeah, you know who does that a lot? Brent. He's the king of that, isn't he?
Well, I'm boring.
There you go. Okay, so he's ignored so many of his cell phone alarms that he has Kayla calling him instead of just looking at his cell phone alarms, right? That's, hey, whatever you gotta do. That's what this conversation's about. Whatever you gotta do to make yourself productive, because everyone's formula is different, okay? Technology helps us, but it's not the end all. You know what, when I said Outlook, I said tasks, right? You know what I use more than tasks? Emails. When you look in my inbox, there are only things that I have to do yet in my inbox. If you have 4,000 items in your inbox, you're not using your email correctly. Okay? Hit the archive button. The archive button just got easier in our system, if you haven't noticed. Okay? Archive is a much bigger deal, and if you haven't upgraded to Outlook 2015, 2016 yet, you will, and the archive button is huge. Okay? So you can hit archive and move it out of your inbox, but still have it. That's the key. Then the things that are in your inbox still have to be done or addressed, correct? Okay? You can use the colors, the customization, the what do you call it? Categorize function of Outlook. That will also bleed over to your phone and other things. Okay? Outlook is the #1 CRM in the entire world. Customer relations management, because it's got calendar, it's got tasks, and it's got contacts. Right? And it's got communications. People don't look at it as a CRM, but it is. Okay? It's actually the most heavily used CRM that exists. The next way to manage your time is to say no. I've been doing this a lot more lately. Has anyone noticed? Yesterday, one of Ron's clients was texting me. What did I say? Call Ron. That's my way of saying no. No, I'm not going to the office to pick up a check for $100. Call Ron. Right? Okay. What happens when people say, let me buy you lunch? It means I'm going to waste your time so bad that I'm going to pay for the lunch. Say no. Okay? Now, if you want to waste somebody else's time, I'm telling you, one of the best ways of doing it is taking them out to lunch. Right? If you want to manage your time appropriately and do the first thing first, second thing never, do not say yes to random lunches. If you're the one asking for lunch, great, but realize that you're asking them, hey, can I waste your time? And don't worry about, I'll pay for the lunch in order to pay for your time, right? If you're a productive manager, lunch is out of the question. Matt, you're in this category. No more lunches with random ass people. I don't even know if you do it. I'm just saying. This is the category that the $1 million producer hits, where you have to be a king of your calendar. Big time. Right? Your calendar is everything. Your time is everything. You have to manage it appropriately. If you manage your calendar with serious gusto, you will be 10 times more productive. We're talking about growth not through sales. We're talking about growth through managing your calendar, managing your priorities, getting up with a mission. When you wake up in the morning, it's not, oh, I'm going to screw off today. It's, I've got my priorities straight and I know what I'm going to do. And you get your formula right to be productive. Okay? Understanding that saying no does not mean that you're not too cool. When a charity asks you if you'll sit on the board, I'm sorry, I just don't have time for it. I'm not too cool. I have to approach it in a method that I don't sound arrogant. But the answer is, say no. Choose your time wisely. If you're going to get something out of it, great, do it. If charity is important and this specific one is important, great, do it. I'm not saying not to. I'm saying prioritize and hit the important things first, because you're only going to get 30 things done in a year. We already went through that calculation, right? Don't get sidetracked. If it's not high enough on your priority list, say no. Okay? When your phone rings, you're saying yes when you answer it. Say no. Send them to voicemail. When you have time to answer it, listen to it and answer it. That doesn't mean it 3 weeks later, right? Okay. One of the biggest, best things that you can do for yourselves, this is a change in culture around here, is close your email. When you're in productive mode, your email alerts should not be going off. Close them. Your Facebook alerts sure as hell should not be popping up on your screen. Those things are shiny objects. Squirrel. You can set times throughout your day. I check my email first thing in the morning, and I check my email not right before I go to bed, because I'll never flipping sleep. Right? I turn that crap off about dinner time. When my kids go to bed, that's it. I will not check it after that at all. If someone's blowing up my phone, okay, then I'll figure out what's going on. I got to deal with something. But if they're not, I do not get out my phone after my kids are in bed. Forget it. 8 p.m. I'm done. Do not have your Outlook open while you're working on a presentation. It does not work. Oh, I'll just take care of that email real fast. And that one, and that one, and that one, that one, that one, and that one, and that one. Oh, I don't have time to work on my presentation anymore. Close it. Does it make sense? Who can identify with what I'm saying on this Outlook business? Am I saying, and this is where I love people who misquote me all the time, Todd told me not to check my email. That's right. For that hour that you're trying to do something else, that one thing in your day that you actually get done, don't check your email. Okay? Have your time blocks figured out. Know when you're checking email, when you're not. Okay? If you're handling your email right and you don't have 5,000 items in your inbox, you can tell what's important and what's not. Hit that archive button. hit the delete button. You can always go back and search deleted items. It's easy, okay? Hit the archive button or put it into a folder. Do you have to take all the time to put it in the 1900 folders so that you're organized? Maybe, if that's what you have to do your job. But most of us don't. Most of us can just put it in the saved emails. And when we're looking for an email from a client, we go search for that client's name. And we can find all the emails. And it takes 2 seconds. And it's much faster than actually sorting into 900 folders. Don't waste your time. But I got to be organized, yeah? With your schedule and your priorities, you got to be organized. And you still will be organized when you go search for this stuff. Okay? It's easy. Our systems use it. All right. Management via email. Pros and cons. Email updates keep you on task. Okay? This goes to the accountability model. Some people need the accountability of every week I have to send out this email and it's the same damn thing every week and I'm clearly not making any production. That's an accountability model. Emails keep us on task. Emails keep us communicating. Kayla, I'm going to call you out a couple times today just because you're my most recent example. Okay? So don't take it personally. It's nothing to do with you. Okay?
Okay.
Kayla's handling all kinds of logistics. She crushes it. She does a great job, right? If she had sent an email out, or anyone had sent an email, whoever put the wands and the radios on the back on the table here, who did that? John did that. If there was email chains between you and John that copied events, 100 people would have told you that you were talking to a Summit County employee about picking something up 45 minutes out of his way. This isn't a solid plan. Do you realize that? No, I mean, you can't catch everything, but that's why we have distro lists, right? If we're doing event stuff with event supplies, copy it. Is it annoying to everybody else on events? Yes. Hit delete, move on. Okay? Quickly. If you don't have anything to do with event logistics, get off the list. That's as simple as emailing IT and saying, take me off the list. Okay. The cons, that you spend a lot of time reading stupid emails. How much spam do you get in a day? What do you do with it?
Junk.
Why don't you take an extra second to hit the block sender button for the rest of us? Because when you block that sender, when enough of you block the sender, the domain blocks the sender. Okay? It's smart enough.
Molly just said that they're recording. Stop.
I just noticed that the little bar went away.
Thanks, Molly. We're still recording.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah, no, it's just a presentation guide, so which I needed to restart, so. It's still not going, is it? Okay. So use those filters, the spam filters, the clutter filters, and when you right-click on the email, it says junk email, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. Block sender, do all kinds of stuff. You can actually do that on your phone too. Okay? But take the time to block that sender, then you'll never have to deal with it again. All right?
I still get your emails.
Mine? Oh, that's a problem. Time management through human power. Meetings as accountability. Well, we have meetings about everything, right? Yeah, it's to keep the progress moving forward. Because it's accountability, because when you come and you go, yeah, I still down to that. Well, that's the problem. Okay? That's why we take notes. That's why we take agendas. Hey, man, this is the 4th week you've been on this note saying you didn't do shit. What's the deal? Brainstorming? Meetings as prioritization? Meetings as prioritization because in that meeting we're talking about what the priorities are for the HR department. Well, those priorities should probably match yours, right? Especially if you're the HR director. Okay? Team meetings. When you're using team meetings appropriately, you're setting the priorities for your staff. At Grand River Health, at Halliburton, at the Sebastian, you're setting the priorities for the people under you. So it's not just your management, but it's also managing those around you. Okay? When people are really struggling with the calendars and the prioritization, what do? We put them on a program where they have to email us every day with what they did and what they're going to do tomorrow. And that's accountability to the max, right? That's micromanagement. But it helps us go, well, your priorities are off. You need to focus on this piece tomorrow, not that piece. But rarely as a manager do you even have to do that with somebody who's sending you daily emails. Because while they're typing out the emails, they think, oh, God, I got my priorities wrong. And they usually fix them themselves before they even gets to you. You don't have to do it as much. Right? But it's the most simple and most hands-on that we get here. But it's important. People have to go through that cycle to see what time they're wasting, to see where their priorities are messed up. Okay? Meetings are not procrastinating. Why? Because you hurry up. How many of you have hurried up and gotten something done because you got a meeting tomorrow? Meetings actually get shit done to set the pace. Right? Are meetings that we have in this company annoying? Sometimes. Are they necessary? Yeah. They are. Even if they're annoying. Here's the thing that we've been getting a lot better about. If it's a 45-minute meeting on the schedule, but we only need to be on the call for 5 minutes, we're getting a lot better about being on the call for 5 minutes. Is there anything else we have to discuss? Yeah, we realize that Brent's at POS and he forgot to do X, Y, and Z for the 8th day in a row. We don't have to talk about that for 45 minutes. He gets it. Okay? The accountability is there. It's there. If we have to talk about it for 45 minutes, great. Let's talk about it for 45 minutes. But if we don't have to, then get off the phone. Right? We've been getting a lot better about getting to the point and not having to worry about people's feelings. Right? Because we've established the core value in the relationships that we have here. So that's not the problem anymore. You don't have to beat around the bush. You can get to the topic and get off and go on with your day. Right? But meetings are still important. If you're not doing these correctly with your team, address it now. Team meetings on a very regular basis. New teams weekly. Very established teams, the very least, monthly. If you only have one person working a contract, bulk them together with a couple other contracts. They need groups. They need people. Especially these. Our management is all high E's, high extroverted people, right? High extroverts need meetings. They need people. They have to be able to play on each other, see each other's progress. A high B will just have the accountability because they don't want to go to the meeting and look like a dumbass. Because they didn't get anything done. But a high B will feed off of other people's successes, other people's work, right? This is how this works. This is why the meetings are so important. If your team is at all struggling, go to weekly. Watch what happens. You think to yourself, well, I don't even know what we're going to talk about. Great, call it brainstorming. All you need is this and that, or a piece of paper. Okay? If you don't know what the agenda is, start by saying, what's the agenda? Okay? And when you think to yourself, hey, I don't really have my shit together, so we're not going to have a meeting. You're wrong. Have a meeting because you don't have your shit together. And the first words out of your mouth can be, I don't know which way to go, but I know we're not going somewhere, so let's go. Help us decide where. Use your teams. This room is 80% extroverts for a reason. Okay? Have the meeting anyways. This is the thing that drives me crazy about new managers. They're so worried about having their shit together in the meeting that they don't have the meeting. Well, guess what? The manager that has the meeting is going to run circles around it. It's just the way it's going to work. Okay? They use the power of people to get it done. Over communicate. Meetings is a way of keeping you on task. Passion. Be committed. Be excited. If you wake up in the morning and you go, oh God, I gotta go to work today, find a new fucking job. I'm not kidding. You're not helping us. If you wake up and you say, I don't want to do this shit anymore, don't. Okay? Go to your manager, go to your boss, come to me and say, listen, Todd, I don't want to do this anymore. But I don't want to lose my paycheck either. Great. We'll come up with a transition plan, even if it takes us a year. But we got to know what we're dealing with. If you're not committed, say it. Okay? That doesn't mean that we're going to pull the carpet out from underneath you. We've never done that, ever. But at least we know that there's an exit plan. And let's start planning. Okay? Let's find someone else to do your job. Let's find you the job that fits for you. We'll help you build your damn resume. We'll make phone calls to the top people that we know in the industry you want to be in. We'll help place you. We're honored to have you as long as we do. When it's time to leave, don't drag your feet. Speak up. Because you're not helping us. You're probably dragging us down. If we know that you're on the exit path, at least you're not going to drag us down anymore. We can all make progress. Passion is happiness' cousin. That was one of the cool sayings I heard out of this deal. I like that one. Passion is happiness' cousin. If you're not happy, you don't have passion in what you're doing. If you got passion in what you're doing, you're probably happy. They are related. If you're not happy with what you're doing, speak up. Let's come up with an exit plan. Let's come up with a game plan. It doesn't even have to be outside the company. It might be a different job inside the company. We've done that many times, right, Brian? Where does your passion come from? It does not have to be work. It can be playing with family. And this job lets me stay home half the time. Great. We have people that do that. It can be my passion comes from developing teams. Great. It can be my passion comes from all kinds of different things, right? But where does your passion come from? Know where it comes from because it should dramatically affect your priority list. The 4-hour work week. Hey man, if you can make $1 million in this company and work 4 hours a week, I'll keep you. Shit. Are you kidding me? Hell yes.
Tell my secret.
Who wants to share where their passion comes from? Who wants to share where their passion comes from? My passion comes from this. This is my favorite thing I do all year. It's not the conference, it's the in-house team. Everybody at once that we get to look at. This is where my passion comes from. This room. Where does yours come from? Somebody share.
Watching it grow, the development of it, seeing it come together, just fuels the fire more.
Awesome. It doesn't have to be work.
That's what some of us do all the time, though. Better.
Can we get put on the path of that 4 hours a week thing?
It's a path we take.
I think for me it's a strategy. It's like playing chess every day.
It's a strategic part of what we do. Anybody else? Well, y'all got to find your passion.
For me, it's the success of my team, like the people that I've pulled together when we accomplish a goal that we've set.
Awesome.
Another part of it is just knowing that we do things to help other people do things completely unaware of the world around them. You know what I mean? People come up to events and they're oblivious to what could actually happen, but we have to consider those things. We have people that sleep overnight, and we're the only person there to guard them from anything that could possibly happen, you know, in a 46-story building. You know, so there's the service that we provide is what keeps me in this actual industry. I can make a whole lot more money somewhere else, for sure.
There's a passion behind the purpose. All right.
Mine has to be challenged.
Challenge? There's passion in the challenge.
There's no challenge in life. Just find it.
You have some issues to solve, whether they're yours or the client's or whatever. Sure. Environment. Back to the idea of how to get things done. Get your formula right. Can you work at home? Can you work in the office? What do you need to be productive? I gotta be honest with you, I'm more productive with some beats on or some bass next to me with at least a 32-inch screen and a computer that can keep up with me. Right? I'm serious, man. You give me a 20-inch screen, forget about it. My productivity's. I have to have a screen big enough to stare at, and I gotta be. You can't ask me about the weather halfway through my hour. You can't do it. Okay? I lose 30 minutes trying to get back on track. Squirrel. I can't do it. Shut up. Don't talk to me. Right? When I'm in that mode, when I'm actually producing, when I have hyper focus on my task, my one thing I'm going to get done today. You know, I hit hyper focus, and I can tell you when I hit it, right? I hit hyper focus midday of Monday. I wrote 7 presentations in 2 hours. 7! I wrote 7 PowerPoints, 7-hour-long speeches in 2 hours. That's hyperfocus. What's your formula that you have to get right for hyperfocus? Where do you have to sit? What seat do you have to have? If this seat's uncomfortable, and it's $100 for a new seat to actually put your ass in hyperfocus, let's do it. It might take us a few weeks to get through, but let's do it, damn it. Okay? If it is an angled keyboard to get you in hyperfocus, great. If it's not using a computer, great. Put it away. Get out a pen and a piece of paper. If it's needing one other person to be with you, find that person and schedule some goddamn time with them. Every week. Every week. Right? You two fuel off each other like no tomorrow.
Well, I'm the opposite of Todd in distraction. I'll get stuck. I'll call Trevor and be like, I'll just talk for 10 minutes and be like, thanks.
I won't even say anything. Like, he'll just talk. They'll be like, all right, I got what I need.
Find that. What is your formula? Tell me right now, what's your formula? What is it? I told you mine. It's... What's your formula?
I have to have noise. It doesn't have to be music. It can be pretty much anything. Like sometimes I'll play like a TED Talks or something in the background, but I just have to have some sort of background noise. If it's silent, then I'm like, every time the heater goes on, you know?
And one of my favorite comments about Candy is she's always watching TED Talk shit. She's never working.
Yeah.
Right? Because whoever made that comment does not understand what her hyperfocus is. They don't get it. Right? And my comment is whatever, man. Just move on. It's not your word. What's your formula? Is it out of Starbucks? Do you need that kind of craziness around you? Sometimes it works. Everyone's different. What's your formula? Tell me. What is it? Is it middle of the night?
Yeah, mine's. I get up at 4 a.m. 365 days a year. I do the weather. Mine is routine, and then I sleep from 6 to 9. And then from 9 on, if it's quiet, and I have a Red Bull and a Percocet, I'm good.
But you have to have your...
I said that.
But you have to have your computer so that you know where things are. Do you have to have another monitor? Do you have to be in a certain room in your house? Do you have to be anywhere?
There is a certain room in the house, but it's just, for me to be hyper, I don't want to be bothered between 6 and 9 because that's the nap time. Because it's 4 a.m. every day the effing year, and then after 9, I can accomplish shit.
That's his formula. What's yours? Does anyone not know theirs? Raise your hand if you just don't know your formula. That's a huge problem.
Mine's at home.
Think about it. Think about it. Like, for the next couple of weeks, write the word hyperfocus on 10 different things around your house to remind you to think, what actually made me productive yesterday? What actually made me productive this morning? That's part of my hyperfocus. I gotta write that down. Because you gotta get into that situation. You can force hyperfocus, right? What is it for me? What is it for me? It's I have to be well exercised in the week, right? I can't be no exercise. I have to have, yesterday I ran 7.5 miles. Like I have to have at least 12 to 14 miles a week or I'm toast. I get angry and I can't get into hyperfocus. Literally.
Yeah, he does.
Okay? So it doesn't have to be 7 miles every day, but I have to have 14 miles a week. I can tell you that's what it is. Even if I bike, it's 14 miles running each week minimum. Okay? Then what? Then I have to have my big screen, no distractions, right? And an Adderall. Maybe some extra caffeine. And I'm done, man. Woo! I'm gone. As a kid, I woke up, or I didn't wake up. I went to soccer practice 6.5 miles from my house. 6.5 miles from my house. I was a kid, middle school. I went to soccer practice. 2 hours after soccer practice ended, I finally realized that nobody was picking me up. My parents forgot. Okay? So I walked my ass 6 miles in the dark home. And when I walked in the house, my dad was staring at a computer screen with no lights on. That dude was in hyperfocus. That's what hyperfocus is. Right? I lost track of time. I could see her all fucking day. He probably got more done in that day than in years. Right? I get to laugh about it now because I know my dad loves me, okay? But still, it's like, that's hyperfocus. That's what it is. And you can force yourself into hyperfocus, and you can have alarms and people take you out of it when you need to. That's okay. But when you lose track of time, when you forget to turn on the lights around you, because you are just here. Find those moments, schedule those moments, and put yourself in the right environment. If you walk into the office and the office is craziness and that's not part of your hyperfocus, leave. Grab your laptop and go somewhere else. But when you go to a park and you're sitting outside and the sun's screen, you can't even see the screen, that's probably not your hyperfocus, right? Choose someplace that puts you in the hyperfocus. Whether it's the public library, whether it's the closet. Literally, we made an office out of our closet for our kids, right? They literally sit in the closet, and they love it. They love it.
How about for one of our employees?
Yeah,
You remember Dustin?
We had the IT guy.
What do we do?
We put the IT
We
guy
made
in the
it.
closet.
No, we made it in the closet. What is your hyperfocus? Where does it come from?
Let's go to the closet.
What is your formula? Get it right. And realize. Wow. Realize when you're not in the right formula. Realize what's missing and go fix it. Okay? Because trying to work in the wrong formula just doesn't work. You're giving it half-assed committal. Okay? Find your hyperfocus. Schedule your hyperfocus. And put yourself into it. Accountability. Who is your accountability? Is it your boss? For a lot of you, your boss is pretty hands-off. Right? Is it your team? Is it your meeting schedule? Everyone has to have accountability. What I did when your family can be your accountability and your goals. Let's talk about family. When I was selling stocks and bonds, okay, I said we get to have a fun night out if I make my goals every week, right? So what does that mean? Ice cream, movie, whatever, right? When I met my goals, we got to do something fun. When I didn't meet my goals, I had to go work out extra. Well, that's why I got real skinny toward the end, right? Because I realized I wasn't meeting my goals quite a bit there at the end. Okay? What's your accountability? Stick to it. Create it. Be dramatic about it. Brent, I need you to hold me more accountable on X, Y, and Z. You know damn well he will. Okay? He's a very detail-oriented guy. But it doesn't have to be Brent. It can be somebody else on your team. It can be the Trevor Matt situation, right? It can be anybody in this room. If you go to them and you say, hold me accountable on this, we will. That's the way this place works. Set a meeting to actually discuss it so that you have to go to that meeting and fess up to the fact that you've been slacking. There's a reason why I'm starting with all this stuff, isn't there? Are we setting the tone? You know what clouds and dirt means? I thought it was a pretty cool illustration. When you're in hyper-focus, you're in the dirt. You're working. It's grunt work. You're shoving. You're digging. You're making stuff happen, right? When you're in the clouds, you're brainstorming. You're prioritizing. You're big picture mapping. Stay out of the bullshit in the middle. Okay? It will suck your time down. It will keep you away from prioritizing. You'll get sidetracked squirrel moment every day. Focus on the clouds and dirt. Right now I'm in the clouds. Great. Let's get out, whiteboards. Let's go, let's talk about big picture. Let's do the overall stuff, right? When I'm in the dirt, I'm cranky. hyper-focused position. I've got this down. You can hang a little sign around your neck that says hyper-focused, don't fucking talk to me. Okay? Great. Okay? Turn off your email. Stay out of the middle.
I think an important part of that is also identifying the task that you need to delegate, the task that you need to assign. My middle task may be Kayla's cloud task or dirt task or vice versa, you know what I mean? Identify those people in the team that need to be actually doing that. If it's in the middle of us wasting your time and it still has to be done, somebody's got to be doing it, right? Because I don't think a lot of us just sit around wasting our time on purpose. It's things that need to be done, but you'll have all these things that are done 70%, you know? So that's just find who needs to be actually working on that specific task. Yesterday we all had to be on the phone for an hour to figure out something, but we were all busy and I was like, all right, if you don't need any more, I'm done, right? And you just step away from it and let them handle it. But that's what's, honestly, that one aspect of things is what's made us more efficient, I think, than anything else in the last 6 months is who's doing what task.
Stay near the middle.
I think that reflects on our accountability too, because, I mean, Brian and I are we mirror each other. If he's doing something, I'm doing the other opposite thing, just to keep it all flowing.
Sure.
So, one of us is in the dirt, the other one's in the clouds.
I think
It switches a lot.
I think that the good point is that what is your middle may be somebody else's dirt. Great?
Right.
Identify that in your meetings, your prioritization, and move things around. Right? What did we used to do? We used to put everyone's task lists on the walls, all of them. And we'd circle the things we like, and we cross out the things we hate, and we trade the things we hate with other people. Or we'd hire other people to do the things we hate. Right? Because that's the middle. That's the distraction. That's the stuff you don't like that holds you down. The clouds is the fact that we're even talking about it. The dirt is the things that you circle, that you crank out, that you get done, that you work. Right? If you need to do that with your team, do it. It's simple. And damn, it brings on some really good conversation. And if you're in a team meeting and you don't know what the hell to talk about, start there. It's another great topic to start with. You can find a lot more literature on that in the values and vision section under supervisors. But it's not that hard, don't overthink it. Goals. Know what your goals are. How many of you actually know what your goals are from your last evaluation? Quote them.
My number one goal is my PHR certification. I probably don't know all 10 of my goals, but my big one will be eliminating the PEO, replacing Valiant, and employee engagement.
Okay? Knowing what our goals are is key. Having goals are great. We've come a long ways on not having goals to having goals. Now it's, do they actually mean anything to you? That's what today is all about, today and tomorrow. Basically, every presentation I'm giving is about this, okay? We've talked about these things 5 or 6 times, but are you actually doing them? Okay? Do you actually know what the fuck your goals are? Are they actually printed somewhere that they mean shit to you? Do your goals actually affect your priority list? Your time blocking schedule? Do you have hyper-focused time scheduled that will actually meet your damn goals? Goals are clouds. Clouds and dirt. Goals are clouds and they need dirt to go with them, right? You need time to actually crank to work toward the goals. But you don't even know what the damn goals are, forget about it. Why am I having this conversation now? Guess what month we're in? Employee Evaluations and Goals Month. Thank you for having more goals now than ever. Now let's actually make them mean something to us. Okay? 2 years ago, I went over what was a goal. I'm skipping that crap now. Right? We're starting to get that stuff under our belt. This is the 3.0 version. Do they actually mean shit to you? Get them done. Okay? Know what they are in order to get them done. If you don't know what your goals are, when we hit this level of evaluation, figure them out. Be able to quote them. Know what they are. Candy's the most confident in the room. I'm not surprised. She reads everyone's goals and talks about her goals all the time. Okay? Know what your goals are is the first step in actually getting them done. Is this rocket science? Is this a good reminder for us all? Is this working?
So one of the things that the area managers, product managers are doing, that's kind of a newer part of our Monday meetings, is actually identifying their purposes for the week to accomplish those, right? What is the one thing I'm trying to achieve on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday? And each day we actually talk about those. We don't spend a lot of time ashing over, but I need to have this accomplished on Wednesday. And this is my goal for the week. All this stuff adds up to me being ready to take over a new project or issuing a proposal or whatever it is. So there's a lot more detail focused goal stuff that's, it's got the big picture in mind with this is how I'm accomplishing it this day or this week to get there for this quarter, that kind of stuff. So that's something new that we're doing. We've only been doing it a couple of weeks, honestly, but.
What am I missing? Is there any topic that I haven't covered in this conversation so far on finding your hyperfocus? Good. If you think of something, say it, so we can all learn from it. Define the practical. What is your takeaway from this conversation? This isn't theory. Okay? This needs to become practical. We've had so much theory. We're tipping the iceberg on making this stuff practical. Right? Every time we take 100%, we only utilize 1. Okay? This is the conversation where we say, okay, for years we've been talking and you've been using 1%. Let's try and use 10%. Let's try and use a little more. What's your practical from this conversation?
One of them is adding an actual section there, hyperpurpose.
Yeah.
Like I've got a time block now.
Yeah.
In my time schedule.
I think a lot of people in this room know how to time block and do it pretty well, and so adding that hyper focus, and then for the rest of us, if it's on your calendar, looking at that person's calendar before interrupting them.
They shouldn't be on Skype,
Yeah.
and they shouldn't be answering your phone call.
So instead of me walking into Todd's office, if it's on his calendar that this is his time, then I know he's going to be hyper focused for this hour or 2 hours or whatever it may be. So. And then
So putting it on your calendar.
put it on your calendar.
Let's do
And then I will
that.
call you.
What's your takeaway?
I think that's important though too, because I know for me, it's, I can time block a 2-hour block on a Wednesday that I'm going to work on this project because I know that's when I have time. But then I get to 2 o'clock on a Wednesday and my mind is not in it because I've been focused on something else, and I got to completely change everything because I'm focused on this now and I know I can get it done.
But your formula's wrong. Okay? You're choosing the wrong time, the wrong date. You're setting yourself up before the time wrong. Your formula of how to get into hyperfocus is wrong.
Sure.
So that's something to think about. Okay? If Jessica and I, we have our meetings on Wednesdays at noon. Okay, we've never had our meetings because on Wednesdays at noon and we're hungry.
Horrible timing.
So our formula is wrong, right? We can't get into even a basic conversation at that time. Okay, it's in the middle of the week and it's noon. We're hungry and angry. Well, at least I am. Okay,
So
so
that 2.5 hour meeting.
yeah,
An hour and a half meeting.
yeah,
We're just coming out of one where we all just met.
that's right.
Whereas I'm using that time right after that because I know I have to be there and I can't have anything else going on, so I might as well just
So
leave it alone for the rest of the day to finish up whatever we come up with.
is it Friday morning at 8:30 after your kid's gone, after you've eaten and you actually shower and leave the house, and you don't go to the office, you go to the library, and you don't check your email. You go straight into hyperfocus. I don't know what the formula is. It's your formula. I'm just trying to expand minds here. Who else has a takeaway? Hope somebody else has a takeaway. You know who I think is really good at getting into hyperfocus stuff? Is the finance team. Both of them. They know how to schedule their diligent time because they've got so much busy work to do that has to get done or the rest of the world falls apart. But my challenge for you two on hyperfocus is don't crank. Schedule cloud time. Right? You're very good at having dirt time. Schedule cloud time. How do I get out of my task list and look at myself from the 30,000 foot view? Look at the company from the 100,000 foot view. Right? Schedule that time because you're so good at dirt. Work on the clouds. Make sense? Is that a good challenge?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll say anybody that's on events can tell when I'm in it because they'll see contracts.
30 contracts,
after
yes.
contracts, just jamming through to events and, a 3 hour period.
So I think for you, I would work on consistency of knowing every week that I do it at this time, even when the chaos is going on right, try and get to that consistency. No, I cannot do that on Wednesdays. No, I cannot attend that meeting on Wednesday, or whatever it is, right? Trying to force yourself into the consistency of hyperfocus. Who else? Dan, what's your takeaway?
Trying to figure out what my hyperfocus is.
What's your formula? That's the point, right?
That's why I'm expanding my formula so I can do my hyperfocus. So I can succeed with that.
It's so important for you variable people who do different things every day, who have different schedules all the time, who are up all nights and then days and then whatever. It's very important for you guys to know what your formula is, so you can look at your week and say, this is my chance, right? I can't be up for 36 hours and do hyperfocus. It's not possible. Okay, well then don't. Okay, so don't even try on those days, right? Understanding when to hit it is your formula, and so being conscious about it, writing the word hyperfocus on your phone, putting in a bunch of random alarms that just say hyperfocus, or writing notes all over your house, or putting them in your car, and just say hyperfocus so that you can think to yourself, okay, in the last week, when did I actually kick ass and get shit done? What did I do to lead up to that? What did I eat? How did I sleep? Where was I? What kind of technology was I had in front of me? Right? When you think about it randomly throughout the week, it helps you understand more about what your hyperfocus is. When in school, because your hyperfocus actually dates back to grade school. It's the same thing. You are you. You barely change throughout your life. So when in grade school did I kick ass? Right? That's the same formula. Was it because I had a deadline? Great. Then let's create deadlines through meetings, through accountabilities with your boss. Right? If that's what it takes to get your formula right, let's do it. Whatever it is. Okay? Because it's important. If your formula includes a $200 item, shit, let's buy it for you because that's important. Okay? If we'll get 200% more productivity out of you for $200, God damn it, let's do it. Okay? What's your hyperfocus? What does it take? Who's got another takeaway? JR, you got a takeaway?
Brent had the same one that I wrote down. As far as finding a spot, where's it at? Because most of the time it's just.
Challenge you, find that library, okay? Find that Starbucks, find that place a physical place. That's one of the things, and for some people it's multiple locations, right? For me, it has to be someplace where I can put that 32-inch monitor. Do you know I take a 32-inch monitor on vacation with me when we drive?
That's super
It's part of my formula. I need it.
Music. Two sides, drives me fucking insane.
I have to ask them. Ryder has to be away from me.
So during Ryder's nap times,
Oh, yeah.
and so you look at Ryder's schedule and make sure he's in bed when you want hyper-focus time,
If
right?
he's not, I just walk in his room twice.
It's not chaining, what was the recent thing, they chained the kid up or something? We don't condone chaining the kids. Who else has a takeaway? Me, new guy. We think. Two new guys sitting next to each other.
No, mine's just finding time for when the right time. Working nights, you know, it's kind of hard to get in a certain time frame.
There is a formula though. It is there. It's hardest when you, especially in your world that you're going into, when you're all over the board schedule-wise. That's when it's hardest, but that's when you're in this place, this teaches you better prioritization and time management. Because in order to move up into a manager director job, right? Those are the things that you have to crush on. If you don't learn it when you're in that grind mode, you'll suck as being a director. Absolutely. And if you already have it when you're in that mode, it's very easy to tell. Very easy to tell. When you have the time blocking down and you're in the John Oakland mode of gotta do it all. And I have no idea what my schedule is next week because I do it all. And but being diligent about saying, but I still have a schedule. I still have a time block. And when they call me and ask me to go in the middle of the night, the first thing I do when I get there and get settled is reorganize my schedule based on what changed right now. Right? You don't just throw out the on my weak spot, come over. No. You sit down and you say, now I'm going to move this to here, move that to here, now I'm canceling this because this doesn't work anymore, I'm moving this over here and I'm doing that. Okay, great. That's what happens with the middle people, right? They get stuck in a lot of middle duties and they seriously have to figure out how to hit the clouds and the Okay. That's all I got.